The council chamber floated silently in the blackness of space. Endless stars glittered beyond the transparent walls, and ships of countless shapes orbited in formation, reflecting the light of distant suns. Inside, delegates of dozens of alien species gathered. Some were tall and thin with shimmering skin that reflected their mood. Others were bulky with armored plates and multiple eyes. All of them were powerful in their own way, and all had one thing in common: they were worried about humans. At the center of the chamber, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms rose. His voice echoed through the hall. "We must act," he said. "Humans are unpredictable. Their behavior threatens the stability of the galaxy. We cannot allow them to continue." Murmurs of agreement and dissent spread through the chamber. Some species had already experienced the chaos humans could bring. Human engineers had outsmarted interstellar navigational rules, traders had developed technologies that disrupted entire markets, and explorers had survived in regions of space that no one else dared to enter. Many delegates feared that humans' ingenuity was dangerous, but others admired it. An elder from the planet Cyralia, her skin pale as moonlight, spoke next. "I disagree. Humans are young, yes, but they are also bold and creative. If we guide them, they can become a valuable part of the council. Exile them, and we lose potential we cannot replace." The debate went on for hours. Every species had an opinion. Some wanted to monitor humans carefully, keeping them in a controlled environment. Others argued for a more drastic approach. Finally, a vote was called. The chamber fell silent. Each delegate activated a voting panel. A holographic map of the galaxy appeared above the floor with planets marked in colors to represent their votes. Blue for keep, red for remove. One by one, the votes appeared. Blue, blue, red, red. The numbers tilted toward red. More and more delegates voted to remove humans from the galaxy's affairs. When the last vote was cast, the result was clear. The humans would be removed. Far away on Earth, humans were unaware of the Council's decision. Cities continued their usual rhythms. Children laughed in schoolyards, and engineers worked late into the night in their laboratories. In a small space station orbiting Mars, Commander Elena Malik looked at her control panel and frowned. "Strange," she muttered. "The sensor arrays are picking up unusual signals from deep space, like fleets, but they're unlike anything we've seen." Her assistant, a young man named Jiro, leaned over. "Could it be a simulation?" Elena shook her head. "No simulation would be this precise. It's coordinated, intelligent, and it's moving toward the human colonies." Back on Earth, news outlets began reporting mysterious anomalies in communications and trade signals. At first, people thought it was a glitch, but soon patterns emerged. Entire supply shipments disappeared in transit. Communications from distant colonies were delayed or scrambled. In the council chamber, the vote's consequences were already set in motion. A fleet of ships designed to transport or isolate humans silently began mobilizing. They were fast and efficient, carrying only what was needed to execute the Council's plan, to remove humanity from its place among the stars. The humans, for all their curiosity and resourcefulness, had never imagined the Council would act so decisively against them. On Mars, Commander Malik's team scrambled to prepare defenses. Human colonies were scattered across several star systems, each with its own capabilities and resources, but none were fully prepared for a fleet designed to take them by surprise. "We need a plan," Elena said. "We cannot fight them head-on. Their technology is advanced. Their numbers are too great." Jiro looked worried. "Then what can we do?" Elena stared at the stars beyond the station window. "We survive. We adapt. We use every advantage we have. They may think they can remove us, but humans do not give up." Meanwhile, on a small hidden research base near Jupiter, scientists noticed something extraordinary. The fleet approaching the colonies wasn't just powerful, it was predictable. Every move they made followed patterns, as if the Council assumed humans would panic or surrender. The scientists realized this could be an advantage. Dr. Rao, the lead researcher, turned to her team. They think they understand us. They don't. We need to create distractions, decoys, false signals. Make them believe we are weaker than we are. That's how we'll survive. Across multiple human colonies, similar plans were taking shape. In the cold deserts of Titan, engineers began constructing cloaked shuttles. On the icy plains of Europa, mining stations were converted into communication hubs to relay false coordinates. Humanity's ingenuity, honed through centuries of survival, began to awaken fully. Back in the council chamber, the alien delegates continued their discussions. Most believed their plan was perfect. The humans could not possibly resist so many fleets, so much preparation, and so much coordination. But not all agreed. A small group of delegates, mostly younger representatives who had studied human behavior, whispered among themselves. "They underestimate the humans," said one, a bright, green-skinned diplomat from Zorath. "I've studied them for years. They never follow the rules we expect. They improvise. They survive. If we move too quickly, we may regret it." The council ignored them. The motion had passed. Plans were underway. Human colonies were marked for removal, and the first fleet was preparing to depart. But humans are nothing if not adaptable. In orbit around Earth, a small team of engineers had already begun modifying old spacecraft for speed and stealth. On Mars, Colonel Malik coordinated with other colonies to create emergency escape routes. Hidden bases, secret communication networks, and unconventional weapons were being readied, not to attack the Council fleet, but to ensure humanity would endure. The first contact happened without warning. Alien ships, vast and dark, appeared near the outer colonies. At first, sensors reported strange readings, then visual confirmation. Hundreds of ships, all moving in perfect formation. "Prepare for communication," Elena said, "but keep defenses ready. They may not talk, they may act." The fleet halted in orbit above a human colony. A holographic message appeared, projected in the sky for all to see. The words were simple, but the meaning was clear. "You are to be removed from interstellar civilization immediately. Resistance is futile." Humans stared in disbelief. For centuries they had explored, built, traded, and survived. Now, the galaxy they had dreamed of joining wanted to erase them. Elena clenched her fists. "Resistance is not futile," she said softly. "It never is. Humans do not give up, no matter how impossible it seems. We will find a way." Across the colonies, people began to mobilize. Engineers, scientists, pilots, and even civilians joined together, forming networks of ingenuity and resilience. Humans had been underestimated before, and they had always proven their worth. Now, facing the greatest challenge in their history, the entire species began to act as one. Meanwhile, in the council chamber, some delegates noticed unusual activity from the human colonies. Fleets were moving unpredictably. Signals were confusing. Human colonies were vanishing from scanners, only to reappear in new locations. The council began to realize something unsettling. Humanity was not as vulnerable as they had assumed. A murmur spread through the chamber. They are adapting," said one delegate, a large, armored figure with golden eyes. "We may have miscalculated." Others ignored the warning. The vote had passed. The humans would be removed. That was the law of the council. But laws in the galaxy were only as strong as those who enforced them. And humans, it seemed, were about to test the limits of enforcement. The first part of the story ends with the humans disappearing into the vastness of space, their colonies scattered and hidden, their fleets ready to evade the Council's forces. Humanity had not yet fought the Council directly, but they had begun a campaign of survival, ingenuity, and resistance that would change the galaxy forever. And in the council chamber, a few delegates whispered their doubts. Humanity was unpredictable, yes, but perhaps, just perhaps, removing them was the greatest mistake the galaxy had ever made. The stars stretched endlessly in every direction, glittering like scattered jewels. Across the galaxy, human colonies were on high alert. The Council's fleet had already begun its approach, but humans had no intention of surrendering. They were small in number compared to the alien fleets, but what they lacked in size, they made up for in ingenuity. Commander Elena Malik stood on the bridge of the Aurora, a sleek human spacecraft designed for speed and stealth. The ship hummed with life, its systems calibrated for long-distance travel and rapid maneuvering. "Status report," she said, her voice steady but firm. Jiro, her young assistant, tapped rapidly on the console. "Sensors show multiple Council fleets heading toward the outer colonies. They're moving fast, but their formations are predictable. They assume humans will panic." Elena's lips curved into a small, determined smile. "Then let's make them wrong. Prepare the decoys." Across the colonies, similar preparations were underway. On Mars, engineers worked tirelessly, converting cargo ships into stealth vessels. They reinforced hulls, altered energy signatures, and programmed autonomous drones to confuse enemy sensors. The desert plains echoed with the sound of human ingenuity, a symphony of hammers, welding, and digital commands. In the icy expanse of Europa, mining stations had been transformed into communication hubs. Scientists and technicians transmitted false signals, creating the illusion of entire fleets where none existed. Every move the humans made was carefully calculated, designed to confuse the Council and buy time. The first confrontation came without warning. A Council fleet, massive and dark, appeared near the outer rim of the Orion cluster. Their ships glowed with a cold, alien light, and their weapon systems were visible even from a distance. "They're here," Jiro said, his voice tense. "And they're moving in formation." Elena nodded. "Deploy the decoys." From hidden bays in the outer colonies, hundreds of small drones launched into space. Each emitted energy signatures mimicking human ships. Lights flashed and patterns shifted, creating the illusion of a fleet 10 times larger than reality. The Council fleet paused, scanning the area. Their sensors picked up the signals, and confusion spread across their command systems. Orders were shouted, systems recalibrated, and fleets split to investigate multiple false targets. "Now," Elena commanded. "All ships, move to the secondary coordinates. Stay hidden. Keep moving." Human ships darted through asteroid belts and gas clouds, moving faster than their pursuers could predict. They used every advantage of the environment, slipping through shadows of massive planets, weaving around gravitational pulls, and vanishing into fields of debris. In orbit above Titan, Dr. Rao monitored the progress. "They're holding formation," she said. "Even the smallest colony ships are coordinated perfectly. It's beautiful." Her assistant laughed. "Beautiful? It's genius. They're turning every disadvantage into an advantage." Meanwhile, within the Council fleet, panic began to spread. Delegates and commanders alike were frustrated. Their precise formations and vast numbers seemed useless against a species that refused to behave predictably. "They should be here," one commander hissed, his many eyes narrowing. "Why aren't they here? Why are they disappearing?" "They are hiding," replied another, though the words sounded uncertain even to themselves. "We cannot track them. Our sensors are being fooled." Elena watched the Council's confusion with satisfaction. "They're learning the first lesson about humans," she said. "Never underestimate them." Back on the Europa Communication Hub, humans were coordinating a network that spanned light years. Every colony shared information about fleet movements, planetary conditions, and possible escape routes. Messages traveled through secure quantum channels, impossible for the Council to intercept. In a small shuttle hurtling through an asteroid field, Lieutenant Mara Chen guided her vessel with incredible precision. Behind her, automated drones mimicked their trajectory, leaving false energy signatures. When a Council scout tried to follow, it locked onto a decoy instead, sending the real human ship slipping safely through a narrow gap between asteroids. "Nice work," Mara whispered to herself. "They never see it coming." On Mars, engineers celebrated small victories. Every colony that successfully evaded capture was a triumph, proof that humans could survive even the greatest threat. Supplies were shared, energy reserves transferred, and damaged ships repaired on the fly. Every problem found a solution, every obstacle a path around it. But survival was not enough. Humans needed to fight without fighting. They needed to confuse, distract, and delay the Council's forces. Commander Malik addressed her crew. "We will not win by firepower alone. Our strength is our mind, our creativity, and our unity. Every ship, every person matters. Every small decision can save a colony, a life, a future." The Council fleet, despite its size and technology, began to fracture. Different commanders disagreed on the next course of action. Some suggested direct attacks. Others proposed waiting, observing, and isolating the humans gradually. Their unity, once absolute, began to crumble under pressure. Meanwhile, humans began taking more daring steps. A fleet of small ships, each disguised as a freighter, approached a Council outpost near a gas giant. Using a combination of stealth and electronic interference, they created the illusion of a massive incoming armada. Sensors on the Council outpost detected the threat and called for reinforcements. While the Council focused on the imaginary armada, the real human ships slipped through a narrow gravitational corridor, undetected. Colonies that had been cornered suddenly found new escape routes, and those previously trapped regained their freedom. On the Aurora, Elena smiled as reports came in. "It's working," she said. "We are teaching them that humans do not surrender." Not all humans were on ships. On remote colonies, civilians contributed in their own ways. Scientists designed clever traps and diversion devices. Engineers modified industrial machines into emergency vehicles. Farmers and miners communicated with scouts, sharing knowledge of terrain and local conditions that allowed human forces to move swiftly and safely. The Council began to understand that the humans were not a single fleet or planet. They were a species-wide network, a web of intelligence, coordination, and creativity. Each colony, no matter how small, played a part in the survival of the whole. In one Council chamber, a young diplomat leaned toward a senior member. They are learning faster than we anticipated. They adapt immediately to every challenge we send." The senior member shook his head. "This is impossible. We outnumber them. Our technology is far superior. And yet, every time we corner them, they vanish." Back on Europa, Dr. Rao studied the Council's reaction through intercepted signals. "They're panicking," she said, "and that's exactly what we want. Confusion is our weapon." Commander Malik received a transmission from the outer colonies. "They're attempting to block the route to the Delta system," the voice said. "We need a solution, and fast." Elena considered the problem. "Then we will make a new path. Use the asteroid fields. Use the moons. Use every natural barrier they underestimate. Humans can adapt to anything. They just need the opportunity." The humans moved as one, yet remained decentralized. Each ship had autonomy. Each colony contributed to intelligence, and every person acted with ingenuity. Even under threat of total annihilation, humans were thriving, proving that resilience was built into their nature. For days, the chase continued. Humans darted through asteroid belts, looped around gas giants, and navigated uncharted regions of space. Council fleets tried to predict their movements, but the humans were always one step ahead. On the bridge of the Aurora, Elena watched the displays tracking both her fleet and the Council's movements. "They think they control the galaxy," she said softly. "But the galaxy belongs to those who dare. And humans, we dare more than anyone." Even within the Council, doubts grew. Factions argued, tensions rose, and trust began to crumble. The species that had voted to remove humanity realized a harsh truth. Humans were not just surviving, they were teaching the Council an important lesson about unpredictability, courage, and ingenuity. In one corner of space, hidden behind a ring of icy asteroids, a group of human engineers successfully repaired a damaged transport ship. The crew cheered quietly, knowing that every ship saved meant another colony would survive. It was small victories like these that built morale, strengthened unity, and proved that humans could endure anything. As Part 2 comes to a close, the Council's fleet was scattered, delayed, and confused. Humanity had survived the first wave, but the challenge was far from over. What began as a straightforward attempt to remove humans had transformed into a struggle to understand them. Humans had escaped, but more importantly, they had demonstrated something the Council could not ignore. Humans were not weak. Humans were creative. Humans were adaptive. And humans, no matter the threat, would never surrender. The galaxy was watching, and humans had already begun to rewrite the rules. The galaxy was quiet in the way only space can be quiet. Stars burned in the distance, and planets rotated silently in their orbits. But the silence belied the tension that spread among the alien council. Their fleets had pursued the humans across countless systems, yet time and again, humanity had slipped through their grasp. Humans were no longer merely running. They were learning, adapting, and planning. Each colony had become a node in a vast network of intelligence and innovation. Communication channels, once simple and fragile, were now fortified and encrypted. Every human ship moved with a purpose, and every individual contributed to the survival and advancement of the species. Commander Elena Malik hovered over a holographic map aboard the Aurora, tracing the routes of human and Council fleets alike. Her eyes narrowed as she studied the Council's patterns. "They assume we will panic," she said softly. "But we never panic. We adapt. And now it's time to show them what humans can do." Jiro, standing beside her, tapped on a console. "We've identified several Council supply hubs that are vulnerable. They're poorly defended because they assume we won't dare to interfere." Elena smiled. "Exactly. We don't need to attack. We just need to show them we can." Across multiple systems, humans began implementing bold strategies. In the Vega sector, small fleets disguised as mining ships approached Council supply stations. Using advanced stealth technology and clever timing, they created the illusion of larger forces. Supplies were redistributed, automated systems were sabotaged, and Council logistics faltered. On Titan, engineers modified freighters to act as signal jammers, creating confusion across Council communications. Messages were delayed or misdirected, and alien commanders began to doubt the accuracy of their intelligence. Meanwhile, civilians contributed in unique ways. Children, inspired by stories of human resilience, sent coded messages through simple data streams, helping scientists discover patterns in Council movements. Farmers used sensor networks to detect hidden fleets. Even artists and writers devised ways to encode information in cultural broadcasts, ensuring that no communication was truly lost. Back on the Aurora, Elena and her team coordinated a bold move. "We are going to the Delta system," she said. "It's risky, but it will force the Council to take notice. If we can save the colonies there from isolation, it will prove that humans are not just survivors. We are leaders." The Delta system was under pressure. Council ships had begun to blockade planets, cutting off supplies and communication. The colonies faced shortages, and morale was beginning to falter. Elena's fleet approached quietly. Using stealth drones and false energy signatures, they created the illusion of multiple attack vectors. The Council ships, unsure which path to defend, dispersed, leaving gaps in the blockade. Human engineers quickly coordinated supply drops to the isolated colonies. Resources arrived just in time. Colonists cheered as ships carrying food, medicine, and equipment landed safely. Their hope renewed, and their faith in humanity's collective strength solidified. In the council chamber, news of these events arrived in fragmented reports. Confusion and disbelief spread among delegates. "They did it again," said a Cerelia representative, shaking her head. "They bypassed our defenses without firing a single weapon. How is this possible?" "They adapt," said a younger delegate from Zorath. "They learn faster than any species we've encountered. They are not just clever. They are exceptional." The council began to realize the gravity of their mistake. Humans were not simply surviving, they were influencing the galaxy. Other species, observing these events, began to admire human courage and ingenuity. Some even began to question the council's original decision. Meanwhile, humans continued to demonstrate their value. A cosmic anomaly threatened several systems in the Perseus sector. A sudden surge of radiation from a dying star could have destroyed planets and colonies alike. Humans, using advanced navigation and predictive algorithms, devised a plan to shield and reroute vulnerable planets. The operation required precise coordination. Fleet ships transported energy shields, while automated drones stabilized planetary orbits. Scientists monitored radiation levels in real time. Civilians assisted by recalibrating local infrastructure to support the shields. The council watched helplessly as humans succeeded where no other species could. Entire planets were saved from destruction, and colonies that would have been lost celebrated their survival. A council diplomat whispered to a colleague, "We underestimated them, not just their skill, but their spirit. They think in ways we cannot predict. They act with unity, courage, and ingenuity." Elena's fleet, having completed the Delta System operation, regrouped near Europa. "We are not just surviving," she said to Jiro. "We are shaping the galaxy, even while they try to erase us." Jiro nodded. "It's amazing. Every colony, every person contributes. It's like the galaxy itself becomes part of humanity's strategy." Across the colonies, similar sentiments were shared. People no longer feared isolation or attack. They had learned that the human spirit, when combined with creativity and cooperation, was stronger than any council fleet. Humans also began forming alliances with sympathetic alien species. Minor factions, previously subservient to the council's will, recognized the value of human ingenuity. They provided intel, resources, and safe passage in exchange for collaboration. A diplomat from the Aurelian system met secretly with Elena. "We cannot support open conflict with the council," he said, "but humans offer solutions we never imagined. If you continue to survive and innovate, you will inspire change across the galaxy." Elena considered his words. "Our goal is not revenge. It is survival and growth. If others join us willingly, we accept it. Together, we can show the council a better way." In the council chamber, the debate grew heated. Delegates argued over whether humans should be destroyed, controlled, or embraced. Every failure of the council to isolate humanity became evidence that their initial decision was flawed. A Cerelia representative spoke passionately. "Humans are not a threat. They are an opportunity. Their ingenuity, resilience, and spirit strengthen all who ally with them. We have tried to remove them, and in doing so, we have only proven their importance." Others were slow to accept this. Some still feared humans' unpredictability, but even they could not ignore the facts. Humans had not only survived, they had improved the outcomes for countless systems. They had saved colonies, protected planets, and inspired other species. On Europa, Dr. Rao analyzed data from multiple colonies. "We are teaching the galaxy something important," she said. "Humans are not just survivors. We are leaders, problem solvers, and innovators. We show that cooperation and ingenuity can overcome even the greatest obstacles." Elena prepared a fleet for another mission. "The Council may be slow to understand, but the galaxy is watching. Every life we save, every problem we solve, proves our value. Humans do not just survive, they improve the universe around them." Meanwhile, civilians on distant colonies contributed in remarkable ways. Engineers on mining worlds developed energy-efficient engines that doubled ship speeds. Scientists on research stations discovered new methods of communication that could bypass Council surveillance entirely. Children on peaceful planets created algorithms in playful competitions, discovering patterns that even trained adults overlooked. Every success was another lesson to the galaxy. Humans were not a species to fear or control. They were a species to respect, to collaborate with, and to learn from. In orbit above Earth, Elena addressed her fleet. "The Council tried to remove us. They underestimated us. But the galaxy is bigger than one council. Every life we save, every colony we protect, shows what humans can do. We do not just survive, we lead, we create, and we inspire. And no one can take that from us." Across the colonies, humanity's actions began to reshape the Council's perception. Where once humans were seen as a threat, now they were viewed as indispensable. Allies emerged quietly, providing intelligence, supplies, and safe havens. The galaxy began to see that humans were not reckless, but adaptive and resourceful. The realization was slow, but undeniable. Humanity's value was not just in its technology or numbers, it was in its spirit, the ability to think creatively, act decisively, and unite in the face of adversity. The Council faced a dilemma they could no longer ignore. The species they had tried to remove was now too important, too capable, and too admired to erase. The galaxy itself seemed to respond to humanity's ingenuity, rewarding their courage and resourcefulness. As Part 3 drew to a close, the Council reluctantly began to reconsider its decision. Humanity had not only survived, they had proven that their presence strengthened the galaxy, not threatened it. Commander Elena Malik looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility and the promise of opportunity. "We have survived," she said softly, "but this is just the beginning. Now, we show the galaxy what humans can truly achieve." And far across space, alien delegates whispered among themselves, realizing for the first time that humanity's removal would have been the galaxy's greatest mistake. The humans had not only escaped, they had begun to teach the universe a lesson about courage, creativity, and hope. The stars stretched endlessly, calm and unchanging, yet the galaxy itself was shifting. After months of human ingenuity, courage, and cooperation, the Interstellar Council had begun to understand a truth they had ignored for too long. Humans were not a species to be removed. They were a species to be valued. Commander Elena Malik stood aboard the Aurora, watching the holographic map of the galaxy. Fleets of human ships moved through systems, reconnecting colonies, delivering supplies, and offering protection to allies. Every action reinforced the same message. Humans were strong, resourceful, and reliable. Jiro, standing beside her, studied the communications flowing in from every corner of human space. "They're responding," he said. "Council delegates are sending messages of reconsideration. They want to meet, negotiate. They want humans back in the fold." Elena's lips curved into a faint smile. "It's about time. Humans are not just survivors, Jiro. We are partners, innovators, and leaders. It's only fair the galaxy sees it." In the council chamber, debate raged like never before. Delegates argued passionately. Some still feared humans' unpredictability. Others recognized the undeniable truth. Humans had saved colonies, stabilized systems, and inspired new alliances. Even those who once wanted humans removed admitted that their presence was now indispensable. A Cerelia delegate addressed the chamber. "We tried to remove humans. We judged them too harshly. But they have shown us courage, creativity, and ingenuity beyond what we expected. Their presence strengthens the galaxy, and we must welcome them back." The vote was unanimous this time. Humans would return, not as subjects or potential threats, but as respected members of the interstellar community. On Earth, the news sparked celebrations across every city and colony. Children danced in schoolyards. Engineers and scientists cheered in laboratories. Even farmers and miners on remote worlds shared in the joy of a species that had faced nearly impossible odds and emerged triumphant. Elena and her fleet approached the Council's capital world. The journey was symbolic. Humans were not returning in fear nor in submission, but as equals, partners in shaping the galaxy's future. As the Aurora entered orbit, a holographic welcome appeared in space above the planet. Council delegates, joined by allies who had supported humans throughout their struggle, extended their greetings. The words shimmered in multiple languages, but the meaning was clear. Humans were recognized, respected, and valued. Elena addressed her crew over the ship's communication system. "We did it. We have shown the galaxy what humans can achieve when they work together. But this is not just about victory. It's about trust, cooperation, and proving that our presence benefits everyone, not just ourselves." In the council chamber, humans met with delegates from dozens of species. Discussions were long but productive. Trade agreements, research collaborations, and shared defense initiatives were established. For the first time, humanity was not only included, they were asked to lead in several areas where their ingenuity was unmatched. Jiro looked at Elena as she spoke to the council. "It's incredible," he said quietly. "All this started because we refused to give up." Elena nodded. "Humans have always adapted. We have survived storms, conflicts, and isolation. Now we use that strength to build, to create, and to inspire. Our responsibility is greater than ever, but so is our potential." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, human colonies celebrated. On Titan, Europa, and distant planets beyond, people worked together to rebuild, improve, and connect. Children learned about the adventures of their species. Engineers developed new technologies, and scientists shared discoveries with the broader galactic community. Even the smallest victories mattered. Farmers on distant moons developed new energy-efficient crops that could survive in harsh environments. Miners discovered resources previously overlooked. Artists and teachers contributed by spreading knowledge and culture. Humanity had become a species that improved not only itself, but the galaxy as a whole. Back in the council chamber, the delegates reflected on their earlier mistakes. The species they had tried to erase had proven to be a catalyst for unity, innovation, and hope. The council understood that humans' unpredictability was not a threat, it was a strength. Their creativity inspired new ways of thinking, new approaches to problems, and new forms of collaboration. A Zorath delegate spoke quietly to a colleague. "We misjudged them. They are not reckless, they are courageous. They think differently, act boldly, and unite when others would falter. Humans. They make the galaxy stronger." As humans returned fully to the galactic community, they did so with humility and vision. They had faced near extinction, outwitted powerful fleets, and demonstrated the value of unity and innovation. But they had also learned something essential. Their strength was not just in technology or strategy, it was in their spirit, their courage, and their determination to thrive together. Elena addressed the assembled council one final time. Humans have never been just survivors. We are problem solvers, innovators, and collaborators. We have faced impossible odds, and we have endured. But our greatest strength is not in surviving alone. It is in working together with all species to make the galaxy better. We return not to dominate, but to contribute, to lead, and to protect. The council listened, silent and thoughtful. Slowly, delegates nodded, recognizing the truth in her words. The decision to remove humans had been a mistake, but the decision to embrace them as partners would shape the future of the galaxy for generations. Across human space, life returned to normal, but nothing would ever be the same again. Humans had proven their value, not through force, but through courage, creativity, and resilience. Colonies were strengthened, alliances formed, and the galaxy began to see the full potential of humanity. Children on Earth gazed up at the stars, dreaming of exploration and discovery. Engineers sketched designs for faster ships, more efficient energy systems, and safer colonies. Scientists developed methods to protect planets and resources from cosmic threats. Every human understood that they were part of something larger, a species capable of shaping the destiny of the galaxy itself. In the final moments of the story, Elena stood on the observation deck of the Aurora, looking out at the stars. The fleets of humans and allies moved gracefully through space, a symbol of resilience, unity, and hope. "We faced the impossible," she said softly, "and we endured. The Council tried to remove us, but we are here. We are humans. And the galaxy is stronger because of us." Jiro joined her, smiling. "And this is just the beginning." Elena nodded. "Yes, just the beginning. The galaxy holds endless possibilities, and humans will continue to explore, create, and inspire. We survived once, and we will thrive forever." The stars stretched endlessly before them, silent witnesses to a species that refused to be erased. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge, adapted, and emerged stronger. The Council's mistake had become the galaxy's greatest lesson. Never underestimate humans. And as humans moved forward, the galaxy watched in awe, realizing that a species so unpredictable, so bold, and so resilient was not a threat to fear, but a partner to respect, a leader to follow, and a light to inspire all others. The universe had changed, and humanity had proven that courage, creativity, and unity could reshape even the vastness of space itself.